It's the Elsa Kurt Show with Clay Novak. Serving up trending news and conservative views. Brought to you by the Elsa Kurt Collection. And Refuge Medical. And now, it's time for the show.
Well, hey there. What's happening, buddy?
Hey, back after a week off. You're back from Mexico. I am back from Las Vegas after being surrounded by 50,000 Patriots for a whole week. So you good? Trip was good?
Well, you know, it was a trip, Clay. It was a trip. I can't laugh. I said before I'm going to try really hard not to laugh because I start coughing, which tells you that I was sick for vacation. We were both sick for the entire time. It was a rough experience and par for the course for my Mexico experiences. So I think Mexico and I have broken up officially for good. Which I don't think they're going to miss me, but that's okay. Yeah. No, it was pretty much a disaster for us. So I hope yours was much better.
Mine was a good trip, but you know what? I think the United States might be breaking up with Mexico. But
yes.
We will talk about that and a bunch of other stuff right after this.
Lots of it.
Hey folks, Clay Novak here, author of the novel Keep Moving, Keep Shooting. So what I've got here is the Boo Boo 2.0 basic first aid kit. This is the one that you throw in your glove box, throw in the trunk of your car, keep in the house. It's got your Band-Aids, antiseptic wipes, those kinds of things for scrapes and cuts. And some, more significant, there is a tourniquet in here. But Boo Boo 2.0, this is the kit that you need all the time. Again, refugemedical.com. You can find it there. Use the discount code KMKS at checkout. Get yourself 10% off. Refuge Medical. Not only buy their equipment, but get their training. Refuge Medical offers training as well.
Check out the latest buy request launch in the Elsa Kurt official merch store. It's the statement wear you love to share. Visit otherelsacreator-spring.com and use code UNBURDENED to save 20% off your order.
Oh my goodness. Well, this whole Mexico thing.
It's not just Mexico. They just happen to be facilitating it because everything traffics through them.
Yes, exactly. And oh my goodness. So my whole thing aside, everybody's up in arms, at least on the left. I mean, over on the right, we're feeling pretty good. We're pretty chill about this whole experience. And it's let me just give everyone, in case you missed it, here is probably like the encapsulation of the leftist meltdown about these deportations. Here you go.
Sorry. So many people are getting attacked. The children. I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything, I promise.
I don't, that's Selena Gomez. She's a actress, singer. I don't know what else she does. I know those are the two things that she does. I like her as an actress. I watch the show she's on. She's on Only Murders in the Building with
That's the Steve
two older guys, Martin Short and Steve Martin. Yeah. Yes, she seems like a very sweet girl. This was so unhinged. She took this down almost immediately.
Yeah.
There was the backlash on this was huge and correct. Like to be having this kind of meltdown over the people who are being deported, which is, by the way, criminals, straight up criminals.
Yep.
And, and of course the responses were, did you cry for Laken Riley? Did you cry for, all of these people who have been victimized by these illegal aliens?
Absolutely not.
The answer, of course, is no, you did not. So take this down. You're being a fool right now. And, and this is pretty emblematic of the left right now.
For sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This is, so for all of you out there, it is Wednesday. It is 4 p.m., a little after 4 p.m. on Wednesday, Eastern Standard Time. So appropriately enough, the Laken Riley bill was signed by President Trump today. Signed into law. So, Selena Gomez and her reaction, you could ask all the right questions. Did she did she cry? Was she crying for Lake and Riley and the victims like her? Did she feel bad? Like, there's so many things you could
So many
ask
things.
about this.
Right.
But the reality is that there has yet to be, that I know of, a raid on a school, which people are up in arms about. There was a reported one in the city of Chicago that turned out to be a bad reporting.
Right.
It was not a school raid. It wasn't, had nothing to do with immigration. It had to do with criminality.
Right.
But that's who, you said it before, that's who ICE is going after. For this entire first wave. It is the high-end, violent, probably or often gang-related criminals who have been, participating in human trafficking, drug trafficking, child trafficking, violent crime that they have either been arrested and released or convicted of. And so ICE is going around with Kristi Noem in body armor, running around with him.
I love that. I love it.
Picking up the known offenders.
Yeah.
Consolidating them, putting them on planes by country, and sending their ass back home.
Yep. Colombia thought they were going to say no, thank you.
Yeah.
Colombia was wrong. Yeah. Yes. That was what was that? That was all done and executed between like the 4th and 8th hole, I think.
Yes, that was the best story was that Colombia refused. I think President Trump was on the 4th hole on Sunday.
Yes.
Colombia refused. He responded with, that's fine. That's fine. You can refuse them. We're just going to tariff the crap out of you. We're going to pull your imports. We're not going to, and he put a whole bunch of financial, constraints on the nation of Colombia. And then immediately the president, by the 8th hole, the president of Colombia turned around and said, not only will we take them, but we will refuel your planes when they land. So, the purse, it matters, the purse strings matter, the finance and money matters. And President Trump, as the businessman that he is using, financial restrictions, tariffs and other things, financial means to make this happen.
Right. And which they insisted, they being those on the left, insisted that's going to backfire. That's going to blow up in your face. It's going to ruin everything for us. You're going to destroy everything. No.
Nope.
Money talks. Money always talks. It's that simple. And why nobody is getting that on left. And I don't really believe that they're not getting that. They're just riling people up. They're riling the easily deceived, the gullible minions of the left. They're riling them up. They're getting them, which is what they've always done. This is the MO that has been going on since time began, that the elites wind up the minions because they don't know any better and they're so trusting and they believe everything that they're told. And instead of just saying, hang on a second, let me just see how this plays out first. They're like, oh my God, this guy is falling. Not for us. Maybe for them, but not for us. So, yeah.
So, the president of Colombia was doing a little bit of saber rattling. He was doing a little bit of, trying to show strength in front of his own nation, his own supporters, and, and ended up looking a fool.
Yes.
Right. So, pardon me, that's a lesson that the entire world took note of. Like everybody in the Southern Hemisphere watched that. Everybody south of, the Rio Grande River watched that and said, okay, well, that's not going to work.
Right.
So, and it's going to continue to move. I think there was more flights today, Venezuela, and I think somewhere else, Guatemala, I think. So
I think Guatemala was the other one.
As soon as they're packing them up, as soon as they've got a flight full, they're sending them. And it's the Air Force that's flying them. I can promise you they've got security on those aircraft. For those, I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, I would not want to be the air crew loadmaster on that C-17 flying wherever. But they do have security on board.
And there were threats from, were they credible threats? I don't actually know, but there were threats that Mexican cartels were threatening to shoot down any planes that, cameras like, really? Yeah.
So, that, and part of this is that President Trump has declared, MS-13, Tren de Agua, these cartels, Sinaloa cartel. He's declared the drug gangs, the international gangs, and the cartels as international terrorist organizations, which allows our military to act.
Right.
So, the first time that pick your cartel out of Mexico decides to even play around and take ground fire, at at a passing military aircraft,
Mhm.
the response is going to be significant.
Oh,
It's gonna be-
absolutely.
and it's going to be brutal.
That is the poster, the neon sign of FAFO,
Yeah,
right? I mean, that is like
100%.
neon letters, bold as can be. And it's certainly one of those moments that everybody sit around and goes, before Trump did this, before it started, everyone was saying, and probably even people on the right, like, how is he going to do this? He can't do this that fast. There's so much red tape. There's so much paperwork. He's like, it's done. It's done.
So, I mean, it tells you as they round up literally thousands of these people that
Yes.
the Department of Justice knew where they were the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time. They knew
Yes.
exactly where they were because all they did was they pulled up their address list and they
Right.
started running raids. And that's
Yeah.
what they've been doing.
And they've recovered a very significant number of missing children too, correct?
Oh, yeah. So out of the 300,000 estimated,
Yeah.
I think the last number I saw was they have recovered somewhere in the neighborhood of 25,000 plus
Yep.
of these children that have been missing,
Right.
as part of this. So good is coming out of this as well.
So much good.
But, I wrote a blog about this today. I know you reposted on Facebook and I appreciate it, but there's been, along with what you were talking about with the left, the crying, the Selena Gomez's of the world who, this is horrible. This is this is that one. I wrote a blog today, and the one that irritates me the most is that people are comparing the deportation process to the Holocaust, which is
I'm so glad you wrote that post, guys. If you haven't yet, go check it out on Clay's site or on my page as well. It's up, and it's a short read and so worth the read because what you talked about really, we're all sick of it. We're all sick and tired of these baseless parallels and comparisons that the left makes. If you do this or don't do that, or you say this or you don't say that, you're, all of the things. You're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a this, you're a that. And that one in particular is probably one of the most disgusting and offensive things that you could possibly make a comparison to,
Yeah. I mean, these are not the innocent Jews living in Germany and
Right.
Austria, and Eastern Europe all over, in the 40s during World War II that were rounded up, taken to concentration and work camps, that were tattooed, that were tortured, that were experimented on, and then eventually murdered, in ovens and gas chambers and all those horrific things that happened. That's not what this is. This is not innocent people. Again, we've been talking about this. They're violent criminals. They are drug traffickers. They're human traffickers. They're child traffickers. They're rapists. They are murderers. They have been at least arrested for, if not convicted of violent crimes against either American citizens or other immigrants. And they're being sent back to their nation of origin.
Yes.
This is not the Holocaust.
Right.
I can't say that loud enough. And those of you that are making that comparison, or if people are making that comparison, that is the most, you said it. It's disgraceful. It's offensive. It's bordering on anti-Semitic because you are making what happened to the entire Jewish population of Germany and Eastern Europe in the 40s. You are delegitimizing the Holocaust by making such a low-level comparison. It's disgusting.
It is.
The only, and I said this in the blog, the only two things that are similar is one, some families have the potential to be getting broken apart. I understand that, but you know what? When you go to jail as a criminal, your family gets broken apart too.
Yes.
So if you're a criminal, whether you get deported or sent to jail, you're still separated from your family. So that's a null and void.
And that's why, because of your own actions, your own choices in life,
100%.
not anything is being done to you.
Nope.
You did this.
Yeah.
So, I'm sad for children. I'm sad for families. Of course, it is heartbreaking to see a legitimate family going through legitimate strife and upheaval. All of those things that would tug at any human's heartstrings. But, there is a point where you draw that line. And, and if you are someone like me, which I represent millions of people across this country who are the children and grandchildren of legal immigrants. And there is, I'm sorry, and I'm sure somebody will disagree with me, but there is nothing more offensive, I would think, to a legal immigrant who did it the hard way, who went through the proper channels and the steps that you have to do to become citizens of this country that they came to because they loved this country and want a better life, unlike these criminals and degenerates and scumbags, to tell them, well, sucks to be you. These guys cut the line and we don't know anything about them. They're not vetted, but we're going to give them all of the things that you worked your ass off for to be a part of this country and to be a contributing member of this country. So, it makes my blood boil.
And what people are getting hung up on is the act of a government agency rounding these people up for deportation, right? So what they're saying is our Department of Justice, the BPS, ICE, these people that are doing this, FBI, whoever's participating, are the new equivalent to the SS.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
Yes, of course, that's what they're saying. They disregard. Yeah. They've conveniently forgotten Obama. I got the tape. I'll pull them all up. I'll throw them all up on here. Obama, Kamala, and who am I? Hillary. All three. I mean, just right off the top, I've got three for you right off the top where they talked about getting them out of here. If you've broken the law, if you're here illegally, get out. You're going.
You can go back and you, as a second generation daughter of Cuba, right? Ilian Gonzalez, for those that are old enough to remember, right? There's that iconic photo of the agent. I don't remember if he was FBI. I don't know, but he's in attack gear, reaching out, right? Submachine gun in hand and grabbing a 7-year-old boy. So, the same people that are, crying about this supported it under different administrations. Yes. And it's just absurd. So
it is. And that's it in a nutshell, Clay. It's not what's being done. It's who's doing it. Right. Because if this was Biden, if this was Clinton, if this was Kamala, if this was Obama,
they'd be all
for it. They'd be applauding. So, don't get it twisted, folks. We all know what it's all about. And the difference now and before is that none of us are taking it anymore. We're not sitting quietly. We're not getting gaslit. And I think that's the biggest thing right now, that the gaslighting days are done. And we're going to throw it right back in your face 10 times harder. You have one thing. And as one of my favorite Clay quotes is, the internet is forever. Right? You can pull it all up in 2 seconds and it's on them. If you don't want to see it, if you don't want to believe what you're seeing, it's on you. I'm not going to be my problem, but I've got it for you. Here it is. You don't like it? Too damn bad, because this is where we're at now. And by the way, it's pretty much your fault that we got here, because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. You went way too far over, and now we're course correcting. So suck it up, because you got this 4 years at least.
And it's interesting because you're seeing too citizens and even the media in some cases, going head to head with the Gavin Newsoms and the JB Pritzkers and folks. There was a press conference with Governor Pritzker, Illinois, saying, we're going to do it. We're going to fight against Trump. We're this, we're that. Oh, by the way, we're okay with criminals being deported, but everybody else, we're going to protect them.
Yeah.
And he keeps referring to, we protect the residents of the state of Illinois, not the citizens of the United States. Right. So, but you've got people, striking back at him and asking that exact question. Yeah. Well, who's paying for this? And why are the citizens footing the bill? And, and so you're right. People are tired of it. Yep. They're not going to take it anymore. They're not going to be guilted into being okay with it, or more importantly, being silent. So I think you're going to see backlash, especially next voting cycle, for those that don't cooperate. Right. And it's going to be, it's going to last a while. These raids are not going to stop.
No.
Tom Homan, God love him.
Love him.
Yeah. He's been on top of this, and he said it himself. He's like, look, we're going to work our way down the list.
Yeah. And I love his responses to, everyone. I think it was Katie Hobbs. Yeah. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs. So she's not going to allow Tom Homan to conduct mass deportations in Arizona. She's not going to allow him to do it. Good luck, honey.
Yeah, it's not
Good luck.
That's not how it works. Yeah. Pritzker said the same thing.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him flat out if he was prepared to go to jail, in defense of that, which he didn't answer that question.
Surprise. Yeah.
So we'll see how it plays out. There's a lot of people talking tough right now. Again, President Trump, even against the states, or really against the governors of states, will and cities, mayors of cities, will use the purse to punish. He will. Fine, Governor, you don't want to cooperate. Maintain your own roads. Like you're not going to get any federal funding.
I guess you don't need that federal funding, right? You don't want it that bad. I guess that's fine. You don't want to play by the rules. Don't go for it. Do what you got to do.
But they'll get voted out of office.
Yeah, exactly. Be ready for the consequence of your own constituents telling you got to go. You're done because you're not representing us. You're not speaking for us. And by the way, that's your freaking job. Your job is to do what we want you to do, not what you want to do. So yeah, what was there was another one. I don't know if that was just today or if that even happened yet. So Trump says to sign executive order to deport anti-Semitic foreign students and protesters. That's long overdue. Get him the hell out of there.
Yep.
Bye. You're not here on anybody's dime.
Yeah. I mean, we're focusing mostly because that's what's been reported. And that's what OJ's been doing on, the violent offenders from Central and South America,
right.
From Mexico and et cetera. But there's, I read a story today that there are massive boats full of Chinese hitting the shores in Florida, that are a problem. We've got students on student visas being very, truthfully saying a lot of very dangerous things on American soil.
Yeah.
Get them out of here. It's the same thing. Like your freedom of speech, you're not a U.S. citizen. Hate to break it for you. So you're not protected by our Constitution as much as people would like you to be. You're not. So when you step out of line, the recourse is pull the visa, go home. And that's it. And that's the way it should be.
Nobody's forcing you to be here. Go. You hate it here. You hate what we represent, And that's, and I just saw something yesterday. It was probably on X, and it's, all these countries, and in every single one of these countries, they're having, of course, their rallies and their marches and all of these things. And for each country, they're saying, the same thing, whether if it's Australia, it's death to Australia. If it's America, death to America. If it's Europe, death to Europe. This is the pattern. They want destruction. They want absolute chaos and destruction of wherever they're at. And there is only one answer to it, which is get out, go back to where you came from. No questions asked. We don't have to have a conversation about it. You're just gone. You're not from here. Go.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I have zero sympathy, anything. I don't have an ounce of it.
Yeah.
None.
You're a guest. Act like a guest.
Yep.
That's all.
That's right. Use your manners. Say please and thank you.
Well, we talked about Kristi Noem, right? Running around in body armor and a baseball hat and going on ice raids. So she's one of the early confirmed.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. We've got some great confirmations in.
Right. In fact, we just had one as we were talking. Lee Zeldin just got confirmed for EPA.
That's
so
awesome.
We can add him to the list.
Nice.
Nice. So who are you tracking?
Yep. So, okay. So far we have Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. If anybody is inclined to care, it was 77 yes, 22 no. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, 68 yes, 29 no. Homeland Security, of course, as you said, Kristi Noem, 59 yes, 34 no for her. Pete Hegseth, that was, of course, that was a pretty wild one. That was 51 yes, 50 no. The tiebreaker done by our guy JD. That was pretty awesome. Way too close for comfort, though. CIA Director John Ratcliffe, 74 yes, 25 no. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, 99 yes, 0 no. And then who did you say? Lee
Zeldin.
Lee Zeldin. Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, just got confirmed while we were on.
Nice.
We can save because I know what we're going to talk about later. But Rubio is a surprise. Not that he got confirmed, but he got confirmed so easily.
Yes.
We'll say the CIA for last though. Kristi Noem's she's been working like she hasn't stepped foot in South Dakota since she got confirmed. I guarantee that. She probably didn't have time to pack her clothes.
I'm sure she's been boots on the ground immediately, I think,
she's
right?
Been working. Yep. And for those of you that don't know Duffy, the transportation secretary who took over for old Pistol Pete Buttigieg, Sean Duffy, do you know where he came from? Do you know where he started?
No.
So back in the old days of reality TV, when reality TV was the real world.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So he is married to Rachel Campos Duffy from Fox News.
Oh, I did not know that.
They met on The Real World on MTV years and years ago.
I actually remember this now that you're saying it.
Right. So they got married. He was a politician from, I think, Minnesota, but he was also like a competitive lumberjack or something like that. Like that was his real world claim to fame thing. But they've been married for years and have, a bunch of kids and all that. But he's always he's always stuck in the politics even after his time. Again, I think it was Minnesota. But so he got brought in as the Secretary of Transportation.
That's
obviously listen, anybody would be an upgrade from what we had. So
you are kidding.
That's a great one.
That's awesome. Let's see. Of course, we know we have Bobby Kennedy going on right now. That is highly contentious and, rough. Pam Bondi, we're waiting on. That should be by tomorrow. Is that right?
I think so. She's on the block this week. Tulsi Gabbard is on the block this week.
Yes.
So that one is interesting in the way that they're talking about voting. And I don't understand this. So, I'm going to kind of lay what I understand to be true out, and then we'll have to figure out the why. So she's the DNI, right? The Director of National Intelligence, which means that all the intelligence agencies fall under her, including a lot of the military intelligence agencies that exist. They're talking about voting for her confirmation in a top secret, in a SCIF, which is a secret compartmentalized information facility. So behind closed doors in a vault, which makes absolutely no sense. So the vote would be hidden from the United States public, and because it's happens inside a facility like that, it automatically becomes classified. So it's very weird that that's even being considered. I don't understand it, and I'm skeptical of the why. Like, who proposed it, why it's being done that way, because nobody else is being done that way.
Right. As an American citizen who has a right to know, I feel like that's an automatic hell no, you're not doing that. So I have no idea. If anybody has any insights on that, please drop it in the comments, because I am befuddled.
Yeah, I don't get that one at all. And I've spent some time in some SCIFs and done some classified stuff, but that just the vote for her to be confirmed makes no sense whatsoever.
No,
absolutely none.
No.
Now, if they were going to interview her and they wanted to speak in terms of classified information, specifics of classified information, not in generalities, then maybe they would have to move the interview portion, right? Her testimony to a secret facility. But the voting portion of it should not be classified at all.
Definitely not. No, I want to know exactly who voted.
Exactly.
And what they voted. And we have a right to know that. I agree with you. That makes perfect sense. If it was the interview and they were discussing classified information, totally fine with that. No worries whatsoever. But no, I want to know exactly who voted what. And I tell you who's all fired up. Nicole, is that her first name? Shanahan, Bobby Kennedy's former running mate there.
She was threatening all kinds of people today if he doesn't get confirmed, political warfare and like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, she's going.
She's all worked up.
Yes, she's going hard, and she's got the money to do it. The girl's a billionaire, so she's got the money, and she said that's not even. This isn't what she said. I think it's not a promise; it's a threat. Like, take it as the threat that it is. I'm coming for your title. I'm coming for your position, and you're going to be the hell out, and I'm going to make sure it happens. So. I hope she wields that kind of power, because I really strongly, I never would have thought I would be so strongly for Bobby Kennedy on something. But I am so strongly for this man in this position. I'm going to show a little clip, and this is just, one very small part of my why. Here it is.
Youth are now on Adderall or some other ADHD medication. Even higher percentages are on SSRIs and benzos. We are not just over-medicating our children, we're over-medicating our entire population. Half the pharmaceutical drugs on Earth are now sold here. 70% of the profits from pharmaceutical companies are from the United States, even though we only have 4.2% of the world's population. Not only that, but a recent study by Cochrane Collaboration founder Peter Ghosh found that pharmaceutical drugs are the third largest cause of death in our country after heart attacks and cancers.
Pharmaceutical drugs are the third leading killer of American citizens. And, all of these people that are against him, that are fighting tooth and nail against him, every damn one of them is in Big Pharma's pocket.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a problem.
Yep.
And that's why they're fighting him so hard, because their wallets are about to get hit really hard. And
it's not a philosophical difference they have with him.
No,
it's and if it was, it would be hard for anyone to justify being less healthy in America.
Right.
So everything that, but Robert Kennedy Jr. is doing is trying to make America healthy, right? We've all seen the Maha, right? Mahagaha, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right? So, that is his goal. And it is about lessening unnecessary medications, lessening unnecessary vaccines, right? He's not anti-vax.
He's not anti-vax. That
he's
you know
not.
that is the biggest misconception.
Yep. And they went after him
yeah.
today about it multiple
Yes.
times.
Yep.
Yeah.
They keep calling him anti-vaxxer because, of course, they got to get their sound
Yeah.
bite out,
Yeah.
anti-vaxxer. And he is not an anti-vaxxer. He's for logical, practical things and doing things properly.
Yep.
That's simple.
And cleaning up the additives in our foods,
Mhm.
cleaning up, dietary recommendations,
Yes.
all of those things. It's about leading a healthier lifestyle and truthfully taking a lot of the government regulation down. So, the amount of preservatives that are in foods, the amount of additives that are in foods and chemicals that are in foods versus natural ingredients, right? That's always what he's been about. And that's why President Trump has nominated him for this very specific role,
Right.
with very good goalposts on what he is and isn't allowed to get in the middle of. I thought it was very interesting because one of the people conducting the interview today asked him if he was a conspiracy theorist. The son of Bobby Kennedy, the nephew of JFK, they asked if he was a conspiracy theorist. And he should have, I wish he would have, he should have lashed back at them with something referencing his father and his uncle and the fact that, President Trump just released all of the data from the investigations of their murders, right?
Yes.
And how conspiracy has been, generated by the United States government. He
Right.
didn't because he's classier than I am, but I wish he would have. So that was, he's been getting beat up, but I think my guess is he's going to make it through. And it may have to be another 51 vote by Vice President Vance, just like he did for Pete Hegseth. And listen, folks, I'm going to say this. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. I was not in favor of him as a nominee. However, he has now been confirmed as the Secretary of Defense. I am on his team. I want him to be successful. I want Department of Defense to be back on top where it should be, and our military being the strongest in the world, which currently it is not. And I think that, the things that they are doing in immediacy, removal of the DEI programs and all of those things, Secretary Hegseth is on the right path already.
Yeah.
I applaud him for what he's doing. I also applaud him. People are going to think that this is minimal, but in his very first day on the job, as he was giving his speech, he referenced Fort Benning and Fort Bragg, which are both near and dear to my heart, and by their names before the change documents.
Yes.
So, and he's an infantryman. He got trained in the same places I did, and so I think, it wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was very intentional. I have a feeling that those, very much like Mount McKinley, is going to go back to Mount McKinley. I think those installations are going to be returned to their former naming conventions, and it's going to cost a little bit of money. And some people argue that it's a waste. And you know what? I don't care.
No, don't care. That's okay. They're saving lots of money in other places thanks to Doge.
They sure are.
They are saving so much money.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Cutting out all that fat.
But the interesting thing that he did do that we can't walk away from is what got released today, what they are doing with General Milley.
Oh, yes. Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So General Milley, within hours of the inauguration, his portrait as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff was removed from the hallway in the Pentagon.
Right. Yes.
Just yesterday, his portrait as the Army Chief of Staff was also removed from that hallway. And now his security clearance has been revoked. His security detail, which was put in place after Soleimani and some other military operations, his security detail has been removed.
Yes.
And there is a discussion that Secretary Hegseth is going to enact or in place a board to review General Milley's conduct as the chairman, which has the potential to lead into a review board of sorts. And there's discussion of lowering him to lieutenant general or 3-star, which would be the last known rank where he faithfully served. Now, do I think that that's going to happen? Do I think there's going to be a reduction in rank? No, I don't.
Okay. Why not?
Why not? Because it's, I got it. It's Bob Woodward. That's what a lot of this is coming from, is Bob Woodward's book, where he said Milley admitted to me that he thought, Trump was a fascist and that he called his Chinese counterpart and blah, 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 blah. I don't, if they're going to do a review board on him that is going to go to court martial, which is essentially what it would take to reduce him to 3-star, you're talking treason. So there would be a criminal trial that would be that would have to happen. And I don't think there's enough there for a treason charge.
Okay.
I don't even know if there's enough there for a conduct unbecoming
Mm.
discussion, et cetera. So I don't think that's going to happen. But what I think is going to happen is that, when generals retire, many of them end up on board of directors for, defense corporations of all sorts.
Right.
And I think, and General Milley is that guy,
Yeah.
that he will be persona non grata, and
Mhm.
any defense company that has him on the board, actually any company that has him on their board of directors, will
Mhm.
never get a government contract.
Yeah.
Never. So he will be
He's as good as done. No
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
what, he's as good
Yeah.
as done. Yeah.
He'll be a cancer in the industry. He'll never
Right.
get on a board. They will stay away from him as if he glows in the dark. So
Yeah.
that's it's an interesting move by Secretary Hegseth, but it is sending a message. And I'm not a General Milley fan. I never have been.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to see how that one's going to play out.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Who else do we have left? That's big name. We've got Kash Patel is another.
So that
name,
he's
right?
late. I think he's one of the last ones.
Is he?
But I think he is going to be.
What do you think?
I think he's going to be a 50-50. I think he's going to be a JD Vance, break the tie.
Mhm.
He shouldn't be, but he's going to be.
Yeah, but another one that they're terrified of.
Yes, and he's going to break some things. Just like Secretary Hegseth, he's going to walk in the door and he's going to break some stuff. He
Definitely.
really is.
No question about it. Yeah.
Which is great. And I think, a lot of these organizations need it. They need to be, given a little bit of a refresher from somebody who's on the outside.
What did you think of the kind of segueing slightly, the freeze that is now, I guess, postponed?
So it is postponed. I understand why they're doing it. I think that, they probably could have done it. The analysis could have been done before they walked in the door, unless things were being hidden.
Right.
So in other words, they didn't have to freeze it to look at it, to keep money from going out.
Yeah.
For the last few months, since November, they could have been looking into all of this government programming, all of this government funding. They could have made their list like they've done with a lot of things and said, hey, as soon as we walk in, we're shutting off these 25 right away. We're making sure this money's not going out. I don't think they necessarily needed to do the freeze. They could have done it leaning forward, but they didn't. So
maybe that was intentional. Maybe it was like a shock value, right? Like a shock value. Let's shock everybody, freak everybody out, and then just go, calm down. Here's what we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And listen, President Trump's a master at that. Like that's not, that's not an accident. So I think that was a legit move. But I don't know if it was that purposeful, but it very well may have been. But it had the effect.
Yes. Sure. Oh, it definitely had. It got everybody. Surprise, surprise! Everybody got rattled.
Yeah. And then the last one is John Ratcliffe at CIA, and this is a bit of a transition to our next topic. But he walked in and broke some stuff too.
Yeah, he sure did.
He walked in, he took over, and what was his vote count again? Do you have that?
Let's see. His was 74 yes and 25 no.
Yeah, so that was people were very comfortable with him walking in and taking over CIA, which is good.
Yeah.
But they did turn around and release, this change on the COVID origin. Now, people need to understand that when the CIA evaluates intelligence, and there's a great, if you've ever seen the movie Zero Dark 30, right, which is the Osama bin Laden.
I know it. Yeah.
They have there's a great scene in that movie where they talk about how much confidence they have in a theory.
Yes.
So what the CIA has said now is that it is more likely that the COVID origin came from a lab leak than it is the wet market or natural origin that everybody was, profusely, supporting for 4 years under President Biden. Now, suddenly, with literally no new data. So nothing's changed.
Clay, I was really hoping that whatever it was that you were going to say was going to be the thing that calmed me down. No.
It's no new data. All they did was come up with the answer that we all knew, and we're allowed to say it out loud. So what now? Again, when it comes to this, they don't give you a percentage. They don't give you what they talk to you about is a level of confidence. They still say a low level of confidence that this came from a lab leak, but it is still a higher low level of confidence
Yeah.
than the wet market theory.
Which is really just, in my opinion, an attempt to keep us from pulling out our pitchforks and burning it all down.
And burning Langley to the ground. That is
yes.
Right.
Yeah. I tell you, as women are more like to do, I'm stereotyping myself. I could cry angry tears. Like I'm so angry. You know what I mean? Like pure rage of what we went through as people who said, are you telling me it was a bat? Some bat in some wet market just got us all sick? Are you kidding me right now? You got the Wuhan lab where they're experimenting on biochemical stuff, and you're going to tell me it's not from there, and you want me to believe that? Are you kidding me? And for the millions of people across the country and probably around the world too that said, hang on, this doesn't sound right. And to all of those people who told us that we're crazy, that we're stupid, that we're this, that we're that, we're conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hats, all of the awful things that people have said to us and about us for all of these years, I have the biggest FU that I could ever give.
You guys,
right?
You got Elsa mad.
Oh my gosh, that it just, I mean, this tore families apart.
Yeah.
This has torn the fabric of our country apart.
Yep.
You see people still walking around in open air all by themselves or in their cars wearing masks because they have been beat down in fear for their lives. They have lost years off of their lives. They've literally lost family members who were locked up in hospitals where they couldn't go and see them, all because of lies and misinformation, calling us the misinformer. I need to calm down.
No, you are right to be angry. We all are. And this goes back to, Fauci. This goes back to preemptive pardon. Why did he get a preemptive pardon? Because of
we
this,
know why. Yeah.
right? It's because of this, and it's because of the money that he made, and because of all that. And we were all called idiots. We were called all kinds of names, and and anybody who knew anything or had any common sense whatsoever knew that it wasn't a bat. They knew, you know what I mean? Like, it's the fact that we've been validated at this point.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was John Radcliffe walking in saying, "Tell the public," because that's what happened.
That's exactly what happened. All of these things that are happening preemptively, including the removing of the red dye 30, or whatever is 3, whatever number those, removing the red dye, like all of these preemptive things, it's because they know what's coming.
Yeah.
So it wasn't it's nothing other than that. Then now they're, house of cards are all starting to crumble, and now they're just trying to get in front of it and get out from underneath it. There's nothing noble happening here for the American people. It's the, oh shit, we're caught.
Yeah, this is cover your ass. That's what this is.
Yeah.
100%.
So,
yeah.
Man, oh man. I mean, I'll tell you, if you're not angry, there's either something wrong with you or you are so good with God that nothing can phase you. And I would like to be the latter, but I'm still angry, man.
But, and just in the last week, Pfizer came out with the list of side effects from their, right? Which is crazy. Listen, folks, if you haven't seen it, and the only jab I took was the original jab, and I took it mostly because I'd been stuck by everything else by the Army before I retired.
It didn't matter, right?
It didn't matter, but I didn't take any of the boosters afterwards. But if you go back and you look at the Pfizer list of side effects from the vaccine, it's insane. And just to tell you what the kind of the turn has been in attitude towards the vaccines. I went to a VA appointment today, and they said, "Hey, we see that you had, the original Pfizer vaccine." I said, "Yeah." And they said, "And you haven't had any boosters since?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "Do you want a flu shot or a booster today?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And you know what they said? Okay. And that was it.
Yeah.
That was the end of the discussion.
Nothing. Yep.
2 years ago, right? It would have been, I would have been lambasted. They would have been pushing, "No, you really should." I would have got a totally different response. And now everybody, including the VA medical system, is like, "All right, man, you got it." Because they all know it's a sham.
Yeah.
But it's been a sham since the beginning.
Yep. From the beginning. And there's people who this is the hill they're going to die on because they don't want to know.
And
because then they have to, they have to admit they were wrong. 2, they'd have to apologize for all of the horrible things that they said and wished upon us anti-vaxxers or non-vaxxers or whatever you want to call us. Yeah, no, I'm not ready to make nice. I can tell you that much. And I would love to be the person. I would love to be the bigger person and be able to do that and really pull on that Christian goodness. I'm not there yet. I'm not. And I don't even know if I ever will be.
I can't even imagine what I would feel had I gotten the vaccine and the 7 boosters and then handed that list from Pfizer that lists all the things that they potentially did to me.
It's horrifying to think about.
And to the people that look at that list, that see that list, they go, yep, still going for another booster. Like I can't help you at this point. Like you're beyond being informed. Like you're willfully ignoring this stuff. At this point.
The thing that I think about that enrages me the most is the people that, and I know y'all do things in good faith and you want to protect your children. I get that, but to do this to children who are so vulnerable and to inject them with something you have no idea what it is, what the long-term effects are.
Didn't go through proper testing. None of it. Nope.
And the horror that these families must be feeling right now, Yep. And then, of course, like you said, you have the ones that are still like, oh no, we're going for a 47th booster right now. Yep. Yeah.
All right. Let's lower your blood pressure.
We really do need to lower my blood pressure. I got my numbers back. We got to calm
I
this
would have
down.
Mine checked today. We're in the same boat. All right. Yeah. Let's move on. What's next in line?
We got this. This is not going to calm me down.
You know what though? So here's the thing. So this man, his name is, and I've got it right here because I knew I was going to screw it up.
Yeah.
Matt Huddle, who is 42 years old, was stopped by a Jasper County Sheriff's deputy in Indiana, and was killed as he resisted arrest. Now, a couple of things. One, I have not seen, and I don't think it's been released yet, the body camera footage, which know, especially as an LEO wife, is going to tell the tale, right?
Yep, it'll tell the tale.
And even if it's and dash cam, especially if it's a sheriff's deputy, right? And it's a traffic stop, the dash cam is going to play part in it too. Dash cam, body cam footage is going to be all important.
Yeah.
The officer, people don't jump to conclusions on this. He has been suspended pending investigation. Again, Elsa will tell you standard procedure. Totally standard. Yep. Anybody who shoots and kills someone in the line of duty will be suspended pending investigation. Happens everywhere, right? So don't jump to conclusions that the officer did something wrong before we know. Okay. Now, a couple of things. One, I am willing to at least entertain the idea that this man is suffering from some form of trauma as a result of his imprisonment for the last 3+ years. And I even saw a picture, and you said it last show, you don't know what's real and what's not because of AI and all this other stuff, right? There was a picture of him being, his cell was a very small, like broom closet size. I don't think that's right. I think it's AI. So again, folks, take that with a grain of salt. But, for somebody who spent the last 3+ years in jail, there's probably some trauma associated with that.
Sure.
He probably hasn't reintegrated well or hadn't reintegrated well back into normal society after 3 years in prison. He probably had a fear of law enforcement as a result, right? Yep. There's a lot of things that could have played into this. So my message in all of this is let's not pass judgment on either one. Please don't pass judgment on that officer until you know what happened.
Right.
Please don't pass judgment on this man, Mr. Huddle, Matt Huddle, before you know what happened. Here's where I have an issue. Have you heard about this from a single celebrity? Right?
No.
George Floyd, right? Let's go back to George
all over
Floyd,
the news. Yes.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
We haven't heard a single thing about this from anybody outside of some very small local reporting. You didn't, when I brought this up as a topic,
I didn't even know
about it.
That was the first I heard of it. Yep. Right? That was the first I heard. I had not heard a single blip on the radar about this at all.
Zero coverage. And that
curious, right? So strange.
Proof that the mainstream media has not changed.
They have not changed, and they never will. I think that is their bread and butter, and it will be for as long as there are people who will watch and consume and just buy it all. And I think that is the saddest thing, that we have learned nothing, that we have allowed the media and government to divide us so severely and so easily. I mean, they've done it. It was so easy. Like, they sit back and they laugh about it. They're like, watch this. This is so good. Want to get them riled up? Oh, everybody looks like everybody's quieting down. Let's just throw this at them so they can all fight again.
But it is coming back to bite some of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
CNN, right?
Well, look who just left.
Yeah.
Right. Jim Acosta, right? The biggest Trump antagonist in the mainstream media. CNN was taking him off of the 10 a.m. time slot, which is
they're putting him on at like midnight or something,
midnight,
right? Yeah.
Right? 10 a.m. is gold, midday news.
Yeah.
That is one of the hot, and put it to you this way, they're putting Wolf Blitzer in there, right?
Okay.
So like this is a legit hot spot time slot. It's the first thing after their morning show. Like this is, that big time spot.
Wow.
And Acosta's numbers sucked so bad that they were like, and they were worried that they were going to get worse with 4 years of President Trump because they knew Acosta wasn't going to change his stripes. So they were going to move him to midnights. And he said, I'm not taking midnights. And they said, okay, well, that's the only slot we're offering you. So he walked out and he quit. So there is some backlash with the media, but again, let's, this is proof positive. This lack of reporting on this, on Matt Huddle being killed is proof positive that the media still sucks.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so appreciative that you gave the reminder to people to not jump to conclusions and to whatever your conclusion might be, and I know you have a faction of people that will understandably automatically say, whoa, you get your tinfoil hat on and like, what's that all about? Are they going to start gunning down all the J6 pardons? Are they going to start killing them all? And so they can't talk. That is a first go-to for many, many people. You can certainly understand why. The anti-police crowd, of course, are going to go right for the, excessive force or police brutality or all of those things. And I'm with you 100%. I don't have an opinion either way. I would like for the dash cam to tell the story. And I honestly think that your theory is the most likely case, that this was just a series of bad events in a moment of time where this guy was, highly, highly reactive. Yeah. Probably terrified. He just got out. He's thinking, I'm going to go, you're going to lock me back up again. If he's got some trauma going on. And, for a police officer, if you feel that you or anyone around you is under threat of harm, you have to react in such a way, to eliminate the threat. Yep. And
and and that, that police officer is going to have to live with that.
Yes.
And so let just folks just take a breath on this one. Let it play itself out before you jump to any conclusions. It
will be one of those things. If you want the details, if you want to know what happened, you're going to have to look for it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to chase it down because the media is not going to help you.
Yep. Yeah. We got one more for you guys that we're going to squeeze in real quick. This for me, I feel like this is a happy note to end it on. We do like to end on a happy note, right?
We do. And the handwritten note from Secretary Hegseth on DOD letterhead that said DOD does not equal DEI, right?
Yes.
It's a meritocracy. It always has been. And his immediate, directive was get rid of DEI and everything associated. Now, there was in a spiteful move by the Air Force. Oh, by the way, the commandant of the Coast Guard has already been fired. Now that was a DHS move because that's who they fall under. But that, you've got that. I know I think it's the chief of staff of the Air Force is under fire right now for a very similar type attitude. And then the Air Force responded to this by removing some curriculum from their junior officer education that taught about the Tuskegee Airmen, which was clearly done out of spite. It was done as
crazy to me.
As an FU to the Secretary of Defense and the new president. And as soon as it was reported, it was directed, reinstate that immediately. That's not the intent. It was an asshole move by whoever it was in the Air Force.
Yes.
And so you got a little bit of that. But overall, across the government itself, you're starting to see DEI being dismantled, DEI programs. Oh, by the way, this is a huge money saver. You guys have no idea the amount of millions and millions of dollars for DEI programs and DEI training across the U.S. government. It's gross.
And that the people hired to do the training, to input these law or rules and everything. I mean, we're making astronomical amounts of money for absurdity, you know. So yes, huge savings going on. Some interesting, very big names for that have walked back or dismantled their DEI departments. Meta, of course, they did that January 10th, or at least that's the date. I don't know if that's like the official date or what, but that's recent. McDonald's, Amazon, Nissan, University of Michigan, who else? Southwest Airlines. There were a more recent one. Oh, no, they were actually December.
So Costco is doubling down on not.
Yes, Costco. There's a few of them. Actually, the one that did surprise me that did walk it back, the only one that actually surprised me was Target, because they were, one of the most openly obnoxious ones. Walmart, the FCC. But yes, holding firm is Costco, JP Morgan, and Chase. Pinterest, does anybody still use Pinterest? Johnson & Johnson and Apple are the ones that I have right now. There was more, but those are, of course, were some notable ones. So if anything hasn't changed in the time that I found that.
Costco's facing a strike. So that's going to happen. I don't know how DEI plays a role in that, but I know it's going to be a bit of a probably bargaining chip for one side or the other. But Costco is probably the biggest one that has been out loud about doubling down on not getting rid of it. So we'll see what happens. Again,
right?
Decisions are made. So, if they start losing to Sam's Club, that's kind of the way that it's going to work. But we'll see what happens.
Yep, exactly. No, it's it's all good news, whether people want to believe it is or not, or agree that it is or not. This is all good news for America. And
this is what we voted for. This is what we voted for. 60% of America voted for this, right?
Yeah. We are what's today? So as of today, we are 9 days in to this administration, and look how much is getting done. Talk about somebody doing the job that you hired them to do, right? Yeah. I'm so blown away. I'm so happy. Yeah. I'm so pleased to see that they're doing what they said they would do. He's doing what he said he would do. He's putting in the people that are doing the jobs. It's incredible to watch.
I'm shocked, truthfully. I knew I was one of those people, and I am certainly not anymore, but I was one of those people who's like, Liz, he's being very aggressive. I watched his inauguration speech. I was like, there's a lot of things he wants to get done. Yeah. Very aggressive. I don't know if 4 years is enough time to get done.
I remember having that conversation.
Yeah. Yes. He might get it all done by the end of the first year. It's unbelievable, the progress, the things that are being done this quickly. And I guarantee, there's jokes that the press corps is begging him to slow down because they can't keep up with him.
They can't. There's so much they can't keep up. And now he's adding. Did you see that? They're adding or opening up the press pool to content creators. All these different lanes, independent journalists, basically. Yeah, good. They're opening it up. You can apply. I think at the moment they have over 7,000 applications that came flooding in, and the requisite is that you have to be serious in what you're doing, and that you consistently report on newsworthy items in your content, and you are welcome to apply. So that's
Are you applying or am I applying?
I know which one of us should apply. I think we should. We should.
We got 15, 16 months worth of content that we
do. I think, we're pretty legit. I think, what are we waiting for? All right, guys, we'll apply. We'll let you know how that goes.
And by the way, the new press secretary is the bomb. She's awesome. So such a breath of fresh air compared to her predecessor, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So.
Yes. No notebook, no binder, no nothing. Just boom. Information all right here, coming right out. Yep. She was phenomenal. That girl is 27 years old. She is on fire right out the gate. Love her to pieces. Yep, absolutely. Oh my goodness. All right.
Well, that was a lot. We jammed that in. Got in 5 solid, good topics, and then a little bit of editorializing along the way. That was good. Folks, we missed a week, and it felt like we missed a month in the amount of stuff that's going on. And so keep tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate everybody here, and of course, we'll be back next week.
Yes, absolutely. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you next week. Take care.
And always keep moving, keep shooting.
How could you almost forget that?
Not a chance.
Take care, guys.
Combat veteran Terry Davis left a life of violence for the quiet Midwest prairie, but a terror threat pulls him back into action. In Tampa, he makes allies and enemies as the danger unfolds. Relying on his combat home skills, Terry faces a threat far bigger than he imagined, unsure of who to trust. one thing is certain: to survive, he must keep moving, keep shooting.
Valentine's Day gifts that wow. Valentine's Day is near, and let's face it, flowers and chocolates are so last year. Your special someone deserves a gift as unique as they are. That's where the Elsa Kurt collection steps in. From Elsa's captivating books to stylish apparel and eye-catching accessories, there's something for everyone. Want even more options? Elsa's curated Amazon lists are packed with thoughtful picks that'll leave your loved ones smiling. Ditch the ordinary and celebrate love the extraordinary way. Visit the Elsa Kurt collection now and find the perfect gift that says you're one of a kind. Ready to shop? Your Valentine's Day hero moment is just a click away.